Ancient Narratives. Iran. Part 6. Xerxes and the War with Greece. After Darius, his son Xerxes ascended to the throne. Xerxes became king of Persia in 486 BC at the age of 35. His mother was Artemisia, the daughter of Cyrus the Great. Xerxes was the eldest son of Artemisia and, according to the will of Darius the Great, he took the throne. Although Darius had an older son named Artabazus from his first wife, Artemisia, the mother of Xerxes, had significant influence at court, which led Darius to choose Xerxes as his successor. In the early days of his reign, a major rebellion occurred in Egypt, instigated by the Greeks. This was Xerxes' first war, and he successfully suppressed the rebellion. Xerxes appointed his brother Achaemenid as the governor of Egypt, and Egypt came under Iranian control. After the suppression of Egypt, a rebellion occurred in Babylon, where the Babylonians considered themselves separate from the Achaemenid rule. Xerxes marched with an army to Babylon, and because he was angered by the actions of the Babylonians, he ordered the city to be destroyed. After the destruction of the city, he also removed the statue of Marduk, the great Babylonian deity, and took it to Ecbatana. With this action, Babylon fell into decline and became one of the less significant satrapies of the Achaemenids. Xerxes' intention in removing the statue was to ensure that no one could claim kingship in Babylon again. Xerxes spent 4 years preparing a powerful army. His goal was to complete the unfinished work of his father, as Darius had intended to launch another attack on Greece after the defeat at Marathon, but his life did not allow it. For this reason, Xerxes held a meeting with the nobles of the court to gauge their opinions on the campaign against Greece. In the meeting, he said, "I want to be a worthy successor to my ancestors, so I intend to take revenge on Greece. They interfere in our affairs and insult and humiliate our people." Mardonius, the son-in-law and commander of Darius's army, responded to King Xerxes, saying, "You are superior to all. The Persian and Median soldiers are allied with you, and we must take revenge on Greece." However, Artabazus, Xerxes' uncle, opposed Mardonius's words and said that this action was dangerous and that they should not make a hasty decision. Therefore, this war should not take place. Eventually, the Iranian army, led by Xerxes, set out toward the Hellespont. This waterway had significant commercial importance. The Achaemenid forces reached Mount Athos, where they constructed a canal to allow the Iranian fleet to pass through the area easily. This canal is now considered a tourist attraction in Athos, Greece. After the canal was built, the infantry of the army moved toward Sardis. The Greeks were terrified, and most of the people of Athens fled the city. Some nearby cities surrendered without resistance, as they could not confront Xerxes' army. Ultimately, Leonidas, the king of Sparta, decided to confront Xerxes. He had predicted years in advance that this war would occur, which is why he had started building powerful fortifications around Thermopylae long before. The Greeks had no intention of surrendering. They sent representatives from 31 city-states to the Peloponnese to hold a conference. The purpose of this conference was to unite against the Persians. As a result of this meeting, they realized that they needed a well-equipped and powerful ground force for this war. Ultimately, Leonidas, the king of Sparta, decided to confront Xerxes. He had predicted years in advance that this war would occur, which is why he had started building powerful fortifications around Thermopylae long before. The Greeks had no intention of surrendering. They sent representatives from 31 city-states to the Peloponnese to hold a conference. The purpose of this conference was to unite against the Persians. As a result of this meeting, they realized that they needed a well-equipped and powerful ground force for this war. They then devised another plan, which was to defeat the Persian naval forces. They knew that the Persian army would be vulnerable without naval support. So, some Greeks delayed Xerxes in the north while naval commanders prepared a fleet to confront the Persian naval forces. The Greeks intended to draw the battle to the narrow pass of Thermopylae, as fighting in this pass would be advantageous for them due to the smaller number of Greek troops. The king of Sparta decided to take command of the battle himself. Leonidas set out north with 300 cavalry, and along the way, 7,000 new soldiers joined his forces. Meanwhile, the Iranian army gradually moved toward Thermopylae. A woman named Artemisia, who is considered the first female admiral in world history, had a meeting with Xerxes. Artemisia was an ally of the Achaemenids and intended to assist Xerxes against the Greeks. The ships of the Iranian army faced a severe storm for 12 nights, resulting in the loss of nearly 150 Iranian vessels. After the storm, the naval forces decided to head to an area called Artemisium. The Iranian navy, with the remaining 200 ships, circled the islands of Euboea and aimed to reach the ground forces. The Greek navy became aware of this and immediately attacked the Iranian ships, capturing 30 of them. Furthermore, another storm intensified in favor of the Greeks, causing several Iranian ships to be wrecked. Despite these losses, the Iranian naval forces did not retreat, as Xerxes had ordered that the navy must join the ground forces in Greek territory. The fighting continued on all fronts, and if it went on like this, the Greek army would inevitably have to accept defeat, as half of the Greek naval fleet had been destroyed. The first day of battle came to an end. On the first day of the war, the Iranian casualties were greater than those of the Greeks. Nevertheless, the Iranian forces managed to enter Thermopylae. Seeing the continuation of the battle as futile, the Greeks fled under the cover of night. The second day of battle began, and both sides fought valiantly. The battlefield was very crowded, and blows in hand-to-hand combat struck the soldiers with great force. The Greeks gained the upper hand in the battle, while the narrowness of Thermopylae made it impossible for Xerxes to utilize cavalry. In the midst of the battle, the Iranians finally managed to find a hidden path and crossed it to reach the rear of the Greek positions. Leonidas, the king of Sparta, along with his troops, was caught off guard as the Iranians closed the route behind the Greeks. From this point on, the outcome of the battle was clear. All 300 Spartan soldiers, along with Leonidas and 7,000 Greek soldiers, were massacred by the Iranians, and the Iranian army set out toward Athens. If you're enjoying these ancient tales, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the fascinating stories from history. After defeating Leonidas at Thermopylae, Xerxes' army reached Athens. The Athenians had evacuated the city before the arrival of the Iranians, and Athens was handed over to Xerxes. The only remaining individuals in Athens were the elderly who had taken refuge in the Acropolis, located on the central hill of the city. Xerxes ordered that these elderly people be removed from the Acropolis, as he intended to use this structure to take revenge on the Greeks. After entering the city, the Iranians set fire to the Acropolis in retaliation for the burning of Sardis. Xerxes, having taken full control of Athens, sent a messenger to Persia to announce the news of his victory. When Athens fell, the news of the Greek defeat reached the naval forces of the country. The remaining ships that were still resisting in Artemisia ceased fighting and fled. In the naval battle, the Iranians had achieved victory with the help of Lady Artemisia. Everything seemed finished for the Greeks. However, this was not the end of the war. One of the politicians in Athens devised a clever plan. He sent someone to Xerxes to deliver a message to the king of Persia. In this message, he presented himself as loyal to Xerxes and claimed that the Greeks intended to flee. He suggested that it was time for Xerxes to take advantage of the opportunity and eliminate all of them. Xerxes was deceived by this letter and ordered his navy to attack the Greeks. The Iranian navy found itself in a narrow area once again, which did not allow for military maneuvering. However, the Greek forces were in full formation. The passage was very narrow, and the Iranian ships kept colliding with each other. The Greek ships took advantage of this opportunity and launched a fierce attack on the Iranians. Lady Artemisia displayed great bravery in the Battle of Salamis and was praised by the Iranians. Xerxes himself awarded her the title of admiral in recognition of her services. The Iranian ships were forced to retreat. After that, Mardonius asked Xerxes to return to Persia while he remained in Europe with the Iranian army to conquer all of Greece. Lady Artemisia also returned to Persia with Xerxes. Mardonius asked the Greeks to negotiate and avoid further conflict, but they refused and decided to go to war. A fierce battle ensued between them. Macedonia, being at the forefront of the army, was killed by the Greeks. The Iranian forces, having lost their commander, lost morale and were forced to retreat. After this battle, the Greeks reclaimed what remained of their lands under Achaemenid control. Following the war with Greece, Xerxes did not engage in any further conflicts and remained in Persia for the rest of his life. Thank you for watching this video. If there's a specific topic you'd like us to talk about, please let us know in the comments. Your feedback means a lot to us.